week. We're starting with Polkadot Growth Initiative from the Polimec Foundation. Do we have Luca here?
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much.
Hey, welcome. Okay, so this kind of shocked me here. 400,000 DOT. I didn't see this coming or didn't hear anything about it, but yeah, why don't you tell us all about it? 60.6% in favor so far, but not many votes. Welcome to the show.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Let me quickly try to share some slides. So in the sake of time, I'll not take longer than the promised 3 to 5 minutes in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Can you all see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So very, very briefly, talking about the proposal 1039, the PGI, the Polkadot Growth Initiative. Want to keep it very, very brief and short for the ones that have not heard about it, which saw the Treasury proposal. Short summary, we wanted to have the discussion round as broad as possible. So instead to use PolkAssembly and Subsquare, we went for the Polkadot forum because we simply saw more tractions on the topics. So we posted it on the 9th of July, and we also tried to circumvent it around as much as possible and try to aggregate as much feedback from Polkadot as possible. Why do we very strongly believe this is a necessity for the ecosystem? Is to boil it down very simply, we need to leverage BD capabilities. BD capabilities means we need to attract more high quality projects, building and being successful on Polkadot. Long story short, the PGI aims to really increase the probability of success of projects that are building in our ecosystem. Now, how do we want to achieve this? The most important part, which is also a central part of Polimec, is we strongly believe that no one is capable to tell you which deal is going to be successful in advance. So we need to have a ring-fenced mechanism rather than a team or an investment committee or a CIO officer that can tell you which project is getting a benefit and which one isn't. Now, we structured a way with the PGI of enabling everything completely on a rule-based metric. What we mean by it is, as you mentioned it, Jay, it's for 400K dots that are going to a bounty wallet. That bounty wallet, the dots, will be held in a system account on Polimec. So there is no individual or no curators that are in charge of deciding which project is being funded. There is only one specific extrinsic that can only be called if the project has raised at least 33.3% of their funding target of external investors, and also if the PGI has not invested prior and that the PGI can only invest a fixed amount of 10% in a funding round. I'll come to that in a second, why we structured it that way. The third point, last but not least, the what of what does the PGI entail? As I briefly mentioned, it's a bounty wallet up to 400K in DOT is the Treasury proposal. It will be held in a system account, can only be called by a specific extrinsic so that the entire mechanism is rule-based held. Now, what does it do? It's basically a success booster. Now, what we mean is projects that were able to raise at least 33.3% from external investors get 10% of their funding target from these dots directly. What does the Treasury get in return? It will be treated on the Polimec Protocol like an institutional investor, and on the Polimec Protocol to use certain functionalities, for example, to place a bid in a participations, PLMCs are required, the native token of the Polimec Protocol, which for the PGI would be given from the Polimec on-chain Treasury. Now, how the mechanism is structured is the Polkadot Treasury would act as an institutional investment DAO, basically, that invests in Polkadot ecosystem projects only on a rule-based mechanism where we have at least a third of what they want to raise being secured by external investors, by having the companies that are building KYC'd on a banking grade standard from Deloitte, so that we ensure a certain amount of accountability from the counterparty. And last but not least, that we can attract the right builders in the ecosystem and also support their success. And only to the ones that were able to raise at least a third of the capital amount from external investors. For everyone in here, I would like to stop it after 4 minutes to not go over the 5. I'm sure some will have open questions. Try to do the brief summary here for the ones that have not seen it yet, be it in the Polkadot forum or on the Treasury proposal directly. The TLDR, it's a curated on-chain bounty. It's co-investments fixed at 10% of projects which are building on Polkadot. What they do require, they need to have a KYB at this point in time from a Deloitte KYC credential. They need to have passed the evaluation stage where everyone can have access to evaluate the project. And they need to have raised more than 33.33% of their funding round from external capital to be eligible and get a 10% co-investment from the PGI.